I have already talked about this in that specific comment that was left, but I love it when people ask me about my writing process. Basically, to sum it up, the question was just asking if I had an editor dedicated to my books because it was like editing of Broken Past or whatever, right? Now, if you didn't know, Broken Past is the novella to my debut novel. Here is said debut novel, The Ruined Royals. This is a YA clean fantasy. It's the first in the trilogy. Now, Broken Past is book 1.5, which is to give backstory on one of the character's parents. Now, in this video, I was basically just showing all the edits and everything that I had to go through when it came to doing the third draft of Broken Past. And this lovely, beautiful, amazing viewer asked, do you have an editor that you are working with? And the answer is yes. I've said this in a few other videos, but I feel like this is kind of the thing that people brush off the most when I do videos talking about my writing process. Like, this is what people usually ignore, so I want to make a full video dedicated to it. I thought this comment was the perfect opportunity to do so. When I write my books, I do first draft, which is don't care about what I'm putting on the page. I'm just getting the idea out. Second draft is where I go in and I read through everything and I change up things, change up scenes, do different, like the editorial stuff where you fix grammar, fix sentences, basically just a quick little proofread of editing. The third draft is where I get like voice memos, like the app I do on both voice memos, and I record myself reading each and every individual chapter and listening back to each and every individual chapter and see, is this how I want it to flow? Is this how I want the chapter to sound? If this book were to hypothetically get an audiobook, is this what I want the readers to be reading? Is this what I want them to be hearing? Is this what I want people to be reading? Is this the story that I want to produce? And make sure that this is the best of the best that I can do for this story before sending it off to the editor. Now, in this specific video, what was shown was just me doing the second draft, because the second draft is really where I go in and do all the editorial stuff and I leave comments for myself to fix up as I go through the third draft. Because when I go through the third draft, as I am reading and like listening to the flow, I check off the comments that I leave during the second draft, basically to say this is approved and basically say that I like the change that I made. Now, the reason why I do so many drafts, because I actually have told people this and they act so shocked because they're like, why do you do so many drafts when you have an editor? But trust me, the last thing I want, because this did happen during the Ruined Royals and it was mainly my fault, is I did not do multiple drafts, which made the editing process of the Ruined Royals longer because there were things that I could have fixed up on my own if I had just done multiple drafts. Now, with editing a Broken Past, it is 10 times easier for both me and the editor because whatever the editor does, I have to approve. So it makes the job a lot easier for everybody involved. If I were to just, If I were to just edit it beforehand and then have the editor go back and proofread everything and basically just make minor changes that could be fixed in an instant, because that just makes the production of the novel 10 times easier. It makes it easier for me, makes it easier for her, makes it easier for the reader, makes it easier for all of us, basically. So with that being said, I hope that this is a much more in-depth answer of the question of, do I have a dedicated editor to the books that I am working with? And the answer is yes, I do. But I always go through and I edit the book myself first, so that way it's easier load on both me and the editor.